Hey everyone, it's Sarah here with another theory, and I already know that some of you are rolling your eyes at me. Sarah, you gotta let it go. It's a TV show. It's different from the books. There's nothing more to it than what we've seen. And, maybe I am in denial after the season finale, starving for a more interesting ending that actually makes sense to me. But my very wise friend and I were having a very mature discussion about the final episode when something she brought up sparked my interest and honestly reconciles some of the issues I've had with Bran this season. So we all know that when Bran was up north with the three-eyed raven, he was marked by the Night King, and the Night King was then connected to Bran and was able to know his whereabouts and break through the magic protecting him in the tree cave. And later, Mira Reed leaves Bran, and she mentions that the Bran she knew died in that cave, something like that. So Bran seems to have no resulting feelings for his siblings when they reunite, and despite knowing the future, doesn't really do anything to communicate or help mitigate any foreseen deaths and damages. Maybe he knew the end justified the means. Maybe he knew the end resulted in him being king, and he let it all happen so that he could win the Game of Thrones. Doesn't really seem in character for Bran to do that, but and you could also argue that he didn't want to mess up the timelines. Maybe if anything was different, the Night King would have won, or Daenerys would have won, and this is the only way things could happen for it to have a good outcome. Maybe, okay, but his behavior did not make any sense to me in the final two seasons. So the Battle of Winterfell was just a disaster. I think we can all agree on that. Why was Bran just waiting for the Night King? Why was the Night King even there? He didn't need to be there to kill everyone at Winterfell, including Bran. He could have just let his dead army kill everyone, or he could have just walked past. What are they going to do? They can't stop him. So why does Bran need to die also if Bran doesn't even do anything or pose any kind of immediate threat to the Night King? Why was it so important that Bran died? Bran has no power over the Night King, And why was the Night King so easy to kill? So, what if the Night King has slowly taken control of Bran since the night in the cave? We know from the books and the show that it's possible to possess another human while they're still in their body. For example, Hodor. This might explain why Bran was warging into the ravens during the Battle of Winterfell. He could have been keeping an eye on the Night King, seeing what's going on, or he could have been controlling the whites from the Godswood, using the ravens to kind of see everything that's happening. And maybe at this point, the Night's King, as we know him, his body, was just a puppet and a decoy, and that's why it was so easy for Arya to kill him, because the Night King wanted it to happen. And, that's why Bran gave Arya the dagger to kill the Night King, and that's how she got past all the White Walkers, Maybe the Night King was now within Bran's body, and that might also explain why the Night King's touch didn't affect Arya in any meaningful way, when in other episodes we know that the Night King's touch can mark people, it can change them to White Walkers, it has magic, I also find it odd that Bran told Jon who his true parents are, knowing that Jon would never want this power and knowing that it would put Jon in a lot of danger. This knowledge in the wrong hands would definitely send Dany off the edge, and Jon is too honorable to kind of keep that to himself. I feel like he would definitely want to tell his sisters. Bran, or Night King Bran, would know this and possibly planted these seeds of deceit and mistrust so that he could end up on the throne. And if Bran were to know the future and saw this coming, what could he really have done about it? Not sure. And at this point, if this really did start in the cave, Bran's powers weren't fleshed out at that point yet, so he may not have known. The three-eyed crow even said to Bran, he touched you, oh shit. He knew what was going on. So I think that's definitely possible, while not necessarily probable, or may not have been what the show writers had in mind. But I'm still down for this. And not to mention, now that Daenerys is taken care of, the way the throne opened itself up to Bran or the Night King just seems a little weird. So when Bran said, "Why do you think I came all this way?" to Tyrion when asked if he'd be king if chosen, is when I decided Bran was kind of not a nice guy. I don't know. He claimed he didn't want the throne, but obviously did if he came all this way to get it, knowing that he'd be offered it. Wouldn't Bran have known that someone else may have been a better ruler, like Jon the Targaryen? He had that information. He knew that Jon was a Targaryen and had a better claim to the throne. We all know Jon would have been a better ruler than a lot of other people, even though he's kind of dumb. So he still took the throne. And this throws me for a loop because no one really knows if Bran's visions are real. There's no basis for thinking he'd be a good ruler except that he can't have kids and has a fun story. A funner story is that they just elected the Night King to rule the Six Kingdoms, and nobody knows yet. Alternatively, I've also seen a lot of theories saying that the Night King's touch made Bran evil, and that Bran warged Drogon to destroy King's Landing, and that it wasn't Dany's choice at all. This is also possible, but it seemed like Dany owned up to burning everyone, so I'm not sure if that instance is good evidence. There's also a lot of symmetry between the Mad King saying burn them all and Daenerys actually burning them all. A lot of people connect the Mad King's burn it all madness to be related to the three-eyed crow who whispered to him to burn them all. That's more of a different theory. I'm not going to go into that, but it's interesting, I think, how it parallels there, and that the three-eyed crow was thought to be responsible for the Mad King's madness. Maybe Bran was responsible for Daenerys' madness. Who knows? I don't know. But I know this theory doesn't quite make the most sense, but it heals my heart a little bit thinking that there may be more to the Night King's story than his pathetic death at Winterfell after 8 seasons of build-up and lore that was just never addressed or explained or anything. So if this was true, that would make me feel better. And since there are no more episodes, I can keep on believing that this is what happened. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching.